Hey, what's up, y'all? It is March 1st, 5:15 p.m., and I'm gonna do another weekly check-in for The Artist's Way. Guys, it's really windy, and I just dropped my camera. Okay. Maybe I'll just hold you guys, because I don't want to do that again. That was really scary. Are you okay? Tell me you're okay. Sorry. Okay, so super windy. I'm in the park right now. I figured I would just take a walk and get outside. I'm so sorry if this is too windy for you to hear me, but honestly, I think I'm just gonna post it anyway and see where it takes me. That was actually really scary. There's people walking around, but I'm gonna just ignore that because, I mean, we live in the digital age. Sorry for vlogging, y'all. Sorry for fucking party rocking. Okay. The first question is, how many days this week did you do your morning pages? How was this experience for you? If you skipped the day, why did you skip it? I did 7 out of 7. I actually almost skipped today because honestly I just completely forgot to do them, but I ended up doing them like a few hours ago. So I did them around 2 p.m. So they weren't morning pages, they were afternoon pages, but the pages got done nonetheless. Okay. Did you do your artist date this week? What did you do and how did it feel? This is kind of serving as my artist date right now. My walk / this also counts as, this week there was a task to do some kind of brain activity and see kind of like what comes up as you just did like kind of like a mindless task. Ooh, it is so windy. I'm not sure that this is gonna pan out well for me, if I'm honest. I like the fact that I've been doing these as one take, so I'm trying to just like make it as real and like raw as possible. I don't want to like edit these videos. They're supposed to be for me and like my self-reflection, but I have decided to post them because I don't know. I watched the last 2 back recently, and I just figured maybe people could benefit from hearing what I'm going through right now, and maybe it'll be a sign for someone to take a chance on themselves and explore their creative endeavors. So yeah, I'm gonna probably film this when I get home because I'm scared that you can't hear me. That would be unfortunate. So I'll see you later. Hello, I'm back. I came home. I'm in my bathroom now, so excuse the aggressive acoustics for the rest of this video, but yeah, I am going to finish answering the questions, and I guess I have to sit up because honestly this angle's a little bit, I don't want there to be, whatever. Okay, I think I was on the second one. Did you do your artist date this week? What did you do? I was in the middle of my artist date, but it got really cold on my walk, so I came home. But other than that, I went to an ASCAP meeting. ASCAP is the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers or something. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. They have an annual membership meeting in New York, and I went to it this year. I actually just recently registered all my music with ASCAP, and it was cool. I feel like it was confronting because there were so many artists there, and I came home feeling kind of defeated because I just met like a bunch of people, and the whole speaking seminar thing portion of it was really inspiring actually. And the girls who wrote the Moana soundtrack, the Moana 2, soundtrack, performed, and they had like a panel with some songwriters, including them, and then another guy who has like 82 #1 hits, but he doesn't know music theory. I was like, relatable king, because I don't know music theory. I play everything by ear, and I'm self-taught. I've trained my own ear. I have trained my own voice. I did some vocal lessons for like 2 or 3 months a couple years ago, but I ended up leaving because it wasn't my cup of tea. At least my instructor was actually great, but the place that he worked for was like eh. And yeah, so I definitely identify as someone who's pretty much like 100% self-taught, which can be very intimidating, especially when you have artists who do it all. And I don't know, I don't typically compare myself to a lot of people, at least people that I'm not like completely inspired by. Like I want to compare my stuff to the Rosalias, the Frank Oceans of the world, the SZAs of the world, you know, like just people who for me are the pinnacle of the greats. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to be great at what I do. So I don't really tend to compare myself to other emerging artists. But this was particularly difficult to navigate. Sorry, my hair is a mess, but whatever. Again, this is kind of just... Anyways, yeah, it was pretty difficult to navigate that because I was just confronted by like how much I have to figure out still, and I don't know. You know, like people have done things like writing camps, and I don't even know what a writing camp is. And I met this kid, and his name is Max. Hi Max, if you watch this. I don't know if you ever will, but if you are watching this, he started asking me about like my numbers and what my brand was. And these are things that like I thought I had a good gauge on. But when I was asked about it, I was like, oh, like, this is weird and like foreign to me. And yeah, I just feel like I need to learn a lot more as an artist. Like sometimes it saddens me that as someone who wants to be a professional artist, I'm only really interested in making art. I don't really care about the followers and the brand deals, and I mean, I do hold some weight to like the accolades. Like I do see myself winning at least one Grammy in my lifetime. But if I don't, you know, I mean, honestly, I think I will, but I'm saying like that's not what's gonna make me feel successful unless, you know, it's more about the quality of my stuff that I think really holds weight for me. Like it holds the most weight for me. But unfortunately, all that other stuff does come with it nowadays, I guess. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to be like an it girl. Like I see myself being on like the covers of magazines and like doing stuff with cool brands that I love. Like I love Heaven by Marc Jacobs. I love Rhode Skin, and I love Glossier and Miu Miu, and you know, doing cool shit. I just want to do cool shit for a living, and I want to make art, and I want to be happy, and I don't really care about using trending sounds on TikTok. Like that turns me off from what it is that I really want to do. So it was pretty conflicting. I was bummed out for like a day or two because I was like, you know, I'm entering this new chapter and I am leaving my old life behind and really, really taking a chance on myself right now. And I just felt like, I kept on describing it like this. I felt like I went from a big fish in a little pond to like a really, really, really tiny, tiny fish in the ocean. Like suddenly I had awareness that I was in the fucking ocean. And it wasn't a good feeling. But I just had to sit back and reflect and breathe and remember why it is I'm taking this chance on myself. My camera died. But we're back. So yeah, I just had to breathe and remember why I took this chance on myself. And to remember, like, I really, 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 and I mean this in like the most like, I mean this in like the most humble way. I know I'm a cut above the rest. You know, like I know that I'm special. Like I really know that I'm special. I've spent 5 or 6 years just really trying to live in that and operate from that place. And I feel like it's finally landing. Like it's finally landing. Like it really just feels like I'm operating from a place of like genuine confidence. I feel like I've laid this foundation down brick by brick, and I've had cuts and scrapes from the labor of it. Like I've been wounded, and the foundation is laid, and my cuts are healing, and I believe it. Like I get to build the rest of this on top of all of this beautiful work that I've done on myself and the beautiful work that I've put out so far. So yeah, it was a little bit of an emotional roller coaster, but we made it out, and now I'm just focused on kind of tailoring my days centered around music and treating this as my job, because it is now. And yeah, just taking it day by day. I wrote in my morning pages today actually that I'm really, really aiming to strike the balance between productivity and like pleasure and fulfillment and enjoyment and being satiated by the life that I'm living in the day-to-day. Like I've been really big on like actualizing and realizing my dream life. And I mean, you know, I think we look at our dream lives like that's gonna happen one day down the line, and you don't actually think about what you do when you get there. Or you maybe idolize your dream life or your dream relationship or whatever. And I'm kind of in a place where I'm like, wait, it's still life. It's just a beautiful, fulfilling, love-filled life. So I can do that like today, you know? And that's my goal right now, is to embody that every single day, because sooner or later it will actualize. So yeah. The third question says, did you experience any synchronicity this week, and what was it? Actually, I've experienced several crazy ass synchronicities this week. My sister and I both got like really beautiful messages from our friends. Like, she was telling me about this really beautiful message that her friend Vanessa had texted her, and then while she's telling me, my friend Cameron texted me damn near like verbatim what Vanessa had told Lexi, which was crazy. We both looked at each other like, what duh. They were both just really sweet messages of like, I'm so proud of you, and I love our friendship, and I love you, and you know, if nobody's told you today, like, I want you to know that, which I thought was really, really beautiful. Lexi and I also had another synchronicity earlier this week where we've both been kind of experiencing some, I wouldn't say spiritual warfare, but just like exploring more spiritually, and kind of, she's in a place in her life where she wants to figure out where her faith lies, and she's, you know, learning a lot about different religions and different mindfulness practices and different like paths of spirituality, which I think is really beautiful. I think that that's kind of like what I'm coming out of now, and having like more confidence in my faith, just having built up a really beautiful relationship with God. And earlier this week I was just kind of confronted with like, still sometimes where I feel like my faith lies, and not wanting to feel lukewarm in anything, but also not wanting to align to something that doesn't actually resonate with my soul, and that I don't feel connected to as much as the people around me or the world wishes I was connected to, or would want me to be connected to for whatever reason. So that was really interesting, because I don't know, it was just like, what are the odds? Such like a deep and introspective, I don't know, it was definitely a synchronicity, and it was super validating for the both of us, actually. And yeah, that was really beautiful that we both shared that with each other. We always feel like we're kind of like walking this life together, rather than like one setting an example for the other or whatever. I mean, as a big sister, I'm like, you know, big sister mode kind of all the time, but also Lexi's very wise, so sometimes she has more to teach me than the other way around, but that's neither here nor there. Let's move on to the last question. Were there any issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. Yeah, I've been feeling some doubt, some self-doubt. I also needed to address certain things within my family that I kind of talked about a few weeks ago on one of these videos, actually, but I had that weighing on my chest a little bit, that conversation that needed to be had, and I actually had it earlier today, and it actually went really beautifully. So I think the issues were just, to me, they illuminated specifically with the conversation that I needed to have. It was just like a tough conversation post like family fight thing that I wanted to just like get off my chest and address in a healthy way, because I feel like in my family we're not super used to healthy conflict resolution. I'll say it. That, or like it can teeter on like avoidance and just not addressing it at all. Like, you know, really emotional, confronting things happen, and then everybody's supposed to get over it. And that's not really good for my nervous system, is what I've learned. But you know, it's tough when my parents are definitely, you know, in a very different part of life. I mean, my parents are about a generation and a half older than I am. So, yeah, it can be very hard sometimes to break through that barrier. But I'm glad we can. I'm glad that I have the tools to, you know, sometimes it's rough to be the one maybe leading those conversations, but we all fall short in different aspects, and so I think it's important to just stay humble and be patient and not think that I'm too good for anything, because I want a good relationship with my parents. I don't want to glorify, like, you know, there's people in my family that I don't speak to and that I don't want to speak to, but I don't think my parents are those people, and I don't want to throw in the towel on relationships in my life across the board that are worth something to me, just because sometimes they hurt a little bit. That's why we have boundaries. That's why we love boundaries, actually. And then the other issue that I went through this week was self-doubt. I think leaving my job, this week was my last day, and taking on this journey for real and putting everything I have into it has been very confronting. And I think the first day on this new journey, I was confronted by a lot of things that I just felt ill-prepared. I thought maybe I was making a mistake. Like, how could I think that this would work, you know? But I was quickly brought back to a place of just knowing and trusting. And like, something that I'm really exercising these days is obedience, and just recognizing that like these steps and this plan is greater than my own, which might sound a little bit woo-woo and, you know, but it's true. I believe in God wholeheartedly, and I believe that God gave me these gifts, and I believe that God is asking me to share them with the world, and I would want nothing more on this earth than to fulfill that assignment. Because I think I'm good enough to do it, and that confidence comes from God, because it's almost, I actually had this thought a couple weeks ago that like, I used to even when I started making music, like I don't think anybody really knew at that point in my life, like no one really knew that I sing or that I enjoy it or that I even play the guitar or anything like that. And I think that something I realized that helped me gain more confidence in my gifts is that like God gave me this voice, God gave me this talent, and even this ambition, this dream on my heart. And God is the perfect one, not me. So like, how could I not how could I be bad? If my talent is God-given, how could it be bad? That doesn't even sound right. It doesn't even make sense, you know? Which I thought was a really cool perspective to have on it, because since then, I mean, I'm here. Like, I just believe in myself so much more. Like, when that finally clicked in my brain after all these years, and I very quickly on this journey and like early on in my musical career figured out that this was super connected to God. Like, I knew from the first song that I made, I was like, whoa, like this is like a spiritual experience. This isn't just like a cool hobby, you know? Like, but I didn't have the language or the tools to understand or articulate that. I didn't even really have a relationship with God. But I feel like God spoke to me through the language of music. Like, he spoke to me. It's my belief that God finds us when we're ready, and when it's time for us to be found, whatever that looks like for all of us. But I also just feel like, I look crazy. I also feel like God comes to us in a way that speaks to our own hearts, you know? That's why there's so many different religions. That's why there's so many different practices and ways to have a relationship with God. Those are all intentional. And they're all beautiful in their own way, you know? And I feel like God spoke to me through music because he knew that I would listen. Like, that's the one thing that I would listen to, literally. And so, yeah, I think I have a really beautiful testimony, actually. And I'm so blessed and honored to like do this work. So yeah, that's kind of, I feel like I always go off on tangents. This isn't even about an issue anymore, but I think that what this book is really teaching me is that like any issues, like I'm really, like they really are significant to your creative recovery, because I am just kind of seeing issues as like things that need to be in my focus and need to be in my attention, and not to view them as issues so much, but like to view them as things to consider, things to give a little bit more care to, and to maybe focus on healing rather than like being defeated by the fact that there are issues. Like, there's always going to be issues internally, externally, issues that we can and cannot control. So yeah, kind of beautiful, I thought. So yeah, I just feel like this week I've done a lot of realizing how much work I've done, and it feels really good. It feels really good to be able to give myself some credit, because I've done a lot of work internally and externally, and work pertaining to my music, work pertaining to my family, work pertaining to myself, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Like, I've been locked in with myself for years now, and I feel like it's finally all paying off inside. Like, it's so peaceful in here now, which is something I didn't always have. And it's so calming and supportive to be in my mind these days. And let me tell you, as someone who had no peace of mind, as someone who struggled with anxiety, depression, PTSD, you name it, like, it's a really beautiful thing. Like, this in itself is a pinnacle of success. My mental health, my relationship with God, my viewing and treating my body like a temple. I'm 2 months sober today, like off of everything, weed, nicotine, and alcohol. I'm 2 months sober today. You know, like things like that. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, this is beautiful. Like life, I'm like, life is beautiful. But like, it really is. Living this way is beautiful. This is so worth every second that I've had on this journey. Every tear I've cried. Everything I've lost, everything I've gained, everything in between. Like, yeah. This book is insane. Like, and this life is insane. And yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. But thanks for watching if you have all the way through. And I'm gonna go watch Ice Princess again. R.I.P. to Michelle Trachtenberg. See ya.